right? I mean, it's a bigger company that raised about $100 million, so there's a lot of stuff going on. But still, every board meeting has to be scheduled 6 to 9 months in advance, right, to get everybody's schedules. But again, I think that it's really important to get a sense as to how people are going to be in terms of the value add that they're going to provide. So I say, have a board, like in Delaware, you can have a board of one. In California, you have to have more than one. How many people do you have to have in those ready companies?
You actually don't need to have a board. There's no minimum requirement. You can run the company with the shareholders, but there's no minimum, but you can go with one.
Okay. But so I think people find it to be it's like yichus having being on the board, right? I'm on the board of directors of this really hot startup, and you've got to just kind of pull them away from that and just say, you know what, let's just put you on the board of advisors and get the yichus there by being the head of the advisory board or whatever. And a lot of clients say to me, well, how many advisors should we have? And this is a really important thing because, at least in the US, I don't know about here, but the first thing that VCs will look at is who's on your advisory board. Because that is, who stood up for you, who believes enough in the company to actually be on your advisory board. So, very often, at the very, very early stages, we start identifying people to be on the advisory board. And how many it should be depends on your company, right? The goal is to have sort of two camps of advisors. One is sort of like the worker bees, and one of the star quality. So the worker bees, the grinders, are the people that are going to fill the core competencies that you guys are missing. So you've got a CEO, you've got a CMO, but you don't really have anyone technical because that's all outsourced. What you want to do is to try and plug the hole with advisors that have that technical core competence. So I've got clients that have like 12 people on an advisory board. Some are just technical, some have a great Rolodex, some are have a sales aspect, but that's really important. Now on the other hand, star quality, star power, if you can find someone, so it's like I had a client in Southern California, couldn't get them funded. Finally got them funded by a little outfit in LA. I mean, it was a dog, right? No one wanted to invest in this company. All of a sudden, Michael Eisner put some money in and got on the board. All of a sudden, everybody wanted to invest in this company. It went from dog to darling, overnight, right? Just because Eisner got onto the board. So when you look at the advisors, you got the grinders and you've got those that have star quality. People that will give your company a lot of credibility. So, shoot for the stars, right? When you're looking for advisors, people that have real deep domain expertise in your area, and when people say, wow, that guy's on the advisory board, it must be good.
So it's all about PR?
Well, I think part of it is, so on the grinders, those are the people that are really going to be giving you the advisory stuff. But for the PR aspect, it's more than PR, it's credibility for you, right? So if you've got Reid Hoffman on your board, right? You're doing something in social or in HR or whatever, and you get Reid Hoffman on your board. People say, "Wow, Reid Hoffman's on there. There must be something there too, right? Because he's on the advisory board. Yeah, you're going to get some stuff, but maybe he'll only meet with you once every 6 months, whereas your other advisors may be meeting with you all the time." One of the things, one of the questions I get all the time is, how much do I give my advisors? So, if you want, I can send you this sheet. I just did a little sheet that's got like a sliding scale, and it's based on 3 variables. 3 variables are the stage of the company, the level of expertise of the advisor, and the level of engagement. So, really, really early stage, high level of expertise, high level of engagement could be 1%. If it's early stage, not such an expert, not very engaged, maybe it's an 1/8 of a point, right? But that's just based on the US, right? So if you guys want that sheet, just shoot me an email, I'll send it to you.
What's the max that you see?
Depends. Is it a grinder or is it a star? So
What level of engagement?
yeah. Yeah, so like 1% for grinders, like up to 1% maybe, very, very early stage. That's what I see as being usual to people. But it's just a guideline, right? If Reid Hoffman says, I want to be on your board and I want advisory board and I want 3%, absolutely, without a doubt. So one of the things that I do when I make the distinction between, this is something kind of practical for options, do people give options to advisors?
Yes, they do.
Okay. So the one thing that you don't want to do is to have to fire an advisor, because I would imagine it's a small community here. Silicon Valley is a very small community. If you fire an advisor, you know, they're going to talk smack about you because no one likes to be terminated. And they'll say, oh, the CEO of this, the CEO of that, you know. So I really try and avoid terminating advisors. So if you have a 4-year vesting for an advisor, and after 6 months you find out they're really not doing anything, your choices are to just let them vest out over 4 years and then you just kind of wasted those shares, or to terminate them, in which case they may be talking smack about you, which you don't want either. So I kind of, when I give options to advisors, I kind of look at them and say, are they the start, you know, quality advisors, the Reid Hoffmans or whatever, and those people, you don't care whether they actually do anything for you or not. Just having their name stamped on your company, and in my advisory board agreement, it says we can use their name, we can, you know, the association, attribution, that kind of thing. So then, do 4 years, you don't care whether or not they're going to do anything, you're just going to let them invest no matter what. But for the grinders, so what I often do is, let's say we're going to give a half point, 50,000 shares. Instead of vesting it out over 4 years and doing 50,000 shares, what we'll do is we'll take a quarter of that, so let's say it's like 12,500 shares, and vest it over 12 months. So say, you know, thank you very much for joining our advisory board, here's 12,500 shares, they're going to vest at the rate of 1/12 per month, so that everything will be vested at the end of the first year. So if at the end of 6 months, they're not producing anything, you say, you know what, I'm just going to let them vest out the 6 months, and then I'm going to be done with them. Because you can say at the end of the 12 months, thank you very much for serving our advisory board, we're reconstituting it next year, your service was so appreciated, they fully vested, and they feel good about it, and everybody walks away happy. You can always, the 9th month, they're doing such an amazing job, you know what, I'm going to just give them the rest of the grant now, and just, you know, do it over 36 months, so they'll be fully vested in 48 months. But it's a way to mitigate the risk of either having to terminate someone, or to just let them vest out. Give them a smaller option, vesting over 1 year, so your maximum outside is only 12 months worth of vesting, but it's only a quarter of what you would have given them. And again, my fundamental philosophy being, you can always give more, but you can never take back. So that's just something that I do with advisors. So maybe what we should do is just take a 5-minute break, and you guys have been so